Hello YouTube, this is my new Roblox game that I have recently created. It is called Drake Zor's Place number 27. The link to it will be in the description if you would like to play on this game yourself. It's a very unique game. I have created it. It's supposed to be sort of like a horror game with no real threat. Basically you walk through a forest. It seems like a forest, but it's actually just a very, very large box. These aren't actually trees, they're massive pillars that go up to the top of the sky. I made it this way so it looks even more ominous. I'm going to explain the idea behind this game and what drove me to create it. So, I've been wanting to make a Roblox game for a very long time. However, I have no knowledge of scripting. I'm completely incompetent at programming, generally speaking. I can program to like a very mild degree. If I sat down and like really went at it for a day, I'd probably be able to program like some kind of incredibly simplistic platforming game in JavaScript of some kind with like random generation features, etc. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm not that good at programming, and that's one of the big limiting factors that stopped me from making any sort of anything for quite a long time. Also, I haven't quite been able to get around to program. I've just been playing way too many video games, honestly. At the end of the day, that's what's been really happening. At the same time, I've been ingesting more and more decent media. I've been looking at more what I consider to be better YouTube videos than the ones I had previously been watching. Okay, and I'm gonna get around to this right now. So I saw one cool YouTube video. It was about Catastrophe Crow, which isn't actually a it's not actually a real, well, it is a real game, but like nobody can play. It's kind of like Petscop. It's you can look up Catastrophe Crow 64 on YouTube. I might leave a link to that in the description as well. Anyways, so basically what I'm talking about is I looked at that video and I watched it all the way through and I thought, wow, this is really cool. But what was even better was like I liked how the game was stylized. You know, it was incredibly ominous. Like, lots of information was just like straight up left out from there. You'd have to dig deeper if you wanted to actually find anything. I wanted to make something like that, but with nothing deeper, with like just an incredibly shallow, normal game that's just kind of spooky like this one. Maybe someday I'll add something to it if I ever learn how to like program in Lua. Maybe that'll happen. Most likely, like 99% sure, it's not gonna happen. So basically, yeah, after seeing that, I was like, okay, that would be pretty cool. So I started thinking, wow, what could I do? And then I remembered, oh yes, I really like environments. And I was playing Starbound at the same time. I found this like barren wasteland. It's like this one world. I think it's called I think they're called hold on, let me look it up real quick. Should be in my search history. Starbound. I believe it's called Decayed. It's a decayed world. And it's got this massive city looming in the background. I really like the tall structures here. You can't see the top of the trees, which is really the most important part. You see kind of bars in the background. At least I'm hoping you do. You might not be able to, but you can see like the trees looming in the distance. The walls are just green grass. You go up to them and there's no... You're basically trapped in a giant box. I did that because the fog mechanic does not work on the night sky. Anyways, what I was talking about was I liked how Catastrophe Crow was, blah blah blah. Yes, and I also like the environment. I've liked good ambience in games for a long time. I'm thinking about adding like some kind of ambient sound system. The thing is that I kind of want to add like a more complex system than I'm capable of creating. And so what happens then is I'm like, I could just add in like a regular old, going through a bit of a dense patch there. I could just add in a regular old, just some kind of soundtrack, but then I remember, oh yeah, you can only have such a long thing in Roblox. And I was thinking, well, instead of having it loop, I could set up, but then I get around back to, I have no idea how to script things on Roblox. Good God, if I only knew how to script things in Roblox, everything would be so much better. Blah, blah, blah. And so then basically, okay, so I was talking to my good friend, to a good friend, and he said, I had listened to like the first half of the Caretaker album, not too recently, not I'd listened to the first half of the Caretaker album pretty recently, and I really wanted to listen to it all the way. And so this good friend said, why don't you try to make a spooky, like, ambient game while listening to the Caretaker album all the way through? Because I wanted to do that. And I was like, okay. But I only listened to half of it, because I'd already listened to the first half, which, I mean, I guess I could still go back and listen to the whole thing, but I don't really think I need to. I got the basic gist of it. The Caretaker album is I mean, it's kind of cool, but like by the time you get to like everyone's all like, "Oh, stage 6 is awful. Stage 6 is the worst." It's just like it's basically just kind of like silence and like some mild sounds. Like I think I could heard like a couple of notes from like the first couple of songs, but that's about it. And I understand like, oh yeah, that's so artistic and all that, but well, I didn't really care all that much. It was I mean, it's like the idea of dementia is scary and all that, but like at the end of the day it's just like gotta make sure I'm recording this real quick. At the end of the day, I don't really dementia is, I don't know. I have big plans on like getting way more exercise once this pandemic's up. Like I'm gonna go. Anyway, so yeah. Anyways, yes, I was going to try to listen to it, but I like listened to the second half of Everywhere at the End of Time, and it was pretty good. I liked the different parts. Oh yes, there was one part on the fifth part. I can't remember where it was because I wasn't like checking. I was just listening to it while I was like making this game, copying and pasting the trees, etc. Yeah, this game wasn't I didn't place every tree like independently. It was pretty quickly thrown together. It kind of sucks. But I can imagine it would be pretty fun if there were actually people here because you could meet up with them and talk to them about how bad this game is. You can try to stack up to the top. I think 50 players could play on this at once, so you could just have everybody like stacking up on a tree to try to get to the top. I'd remove the roof, but obviously then you'd be able to see the sky, and that would ruin the aesthetic of the game. I wish I could make this infinite, but like I don't really know how to. I also, if I knew how, I'd make the trees randomly generate with each server, so that way it would be like really cool. Yeah. So anyway, hold on. I gotta go back and I gotta see.